very important. Alright, that's okay. But it's very important that you pay attention to this. You know, when we started this topic, percentages, I told you basically what we're looking at, what percentage is all about, right? So that's why you're seeing what you're asked to record here. And what's that? Can you read what's on the board? I'm talking about the recall part.
To convert percentage and multiply by 100 to convert percent.
So generally, in percentage, or when working with percentage, there are two what operations you carry out. There are two operations.
Most of the time,
And
the 100 for dividing always turns into multiplication.
yeah, because you have to do what? Take it the other way, change division to multiplication. In that, is it not true? In most cases. Alright, that's fine. But I want you to remember that percentage means by 100. But like I said, it's not just enough for you to know that percentage means by 100. You need to know when to divide by 100, when to multiply by 100. That is, I think that's the crux of the matter. I said it is the what? It is the crux of the matter. So you must ensure that this is clear. If percentage means by 100, here they are saying that we divide by 100. They are now telling us that there are two operations we carry out with percentage generally. Besides, apart from the percentage increase and percentage decrease.
I have a question. When the next topic was starting, was it only addition and subtraction and did all of the whole thing?
Why not just hold on until we get there? I think we should just relax. Let's take it in beats. Okay, so we divide by 100 to convert from percentage, right? And multiply by 100 to convert to percentage. So if you're already given the percentage of a number and you want to get what that number is, you have to divide by 100. So there are examples here. There are 4 examples that will test our knowledge on what we have done for the whole of January. You know, we've been on this topic looking at various aspects, various things within percentage for the whole of this month. But this is an overview, this is a review of everything we have done. You understand? To ensure that we're ready to move to the next topic that will also test our understanding of the topic, the subject of percentage. Alright, if we know these two things, when to multiply by 100 and when to divide by 100, these examples will help buttress the point. Is that okay? Examples will be used to do what? To buttress the point. Let's look at the first question. Number 1. They said a trader sold. Thank you very much. A trader sold 28% of his 75 kg of sugar. How much did he sell? He sold 28% of 75 kg. So what quantity did he sell? Did he sell up to 75%? Did he sell up to 75 kg? No, he did not. For him to sell up to 75 kg would mean 100% of what he has, right? But in this case, they said he sold 28%. If he sold 28%, then he will still have some of his sugar waiting. Is that not okay? But if they are saying he sold 28% out of 75 kg, how much did he sell? If we know the quantity he sold, the mass he sold, of course we can from there know what is left. Is that not true? By a simple subtraction. But let's get what he sold. But what do we know? We know that he sold 28%. But what does the 28% correspond to? That's what we're going to be looking at. I just said I'm on camera, so you just have to listen. I should be the one talking. So just listen attentively. Alright. So if this is 28%, he sold what? He sold 28% of 75 kg. Right? He sold 28% of 75 kg. Okay, so it means that this is 28% of 75 kg. I hope you know that kilogram is one of the units we use to measure the mass of an object. And we have said here that there is a difference between mass and weight. Do we know that already?
Yeah.
There is a difference between mass and weight. So you cannot be talking about kilograms, grams, and all that, and be using weight as a quantity, right? So the quantity mass is measured in kilograms, grams, and other units associated. But for this, we already have 28%, right? So if we have 28%, come back to the recall. Look at the board. Now coming back to the recall, you will see that to convert from percentage, we divide by 100. So we already have it in percentage, and we want to change from. So what do? This becomes 28 over 100. Up here, this is times 75 kg. Of course, this is over 1. By doing over 1, it's 75 kg divided by 1. And 75 kg divided by 1 is 75 kg. But for the sake of convenience, I'm just doing it like this. Is that okay?
Yeah.
You also need to be on the lookout for the unit. You have to take note of the unit. Yes. So 75 and 100. You know this. We have to look for a common factor. 5 is a common. Is 5 the only factor common to 175? Is 5 the only factor common to 175? 5 is a common factor. Can you think of the highest common factor? 15 is a factor of 75, but not a factor of 100. So the highest common factor here is what we're going to work with, and the highest common factor is what? What's the HCF of 100 and 75? The highest common factor. 5 would work. 5 is a common factor, but not the highest common factor. So the 5 will go into 75 3 times, and 25 will go into 100 4 times. Is that true? So 25 here, 3, and 25 here, 4. In cases like this, it is best. Yes, in cases like this, it is best we use the highest common factor to make life very easy for us. That's why we learned about HCF before coming to all of these things, because we will need the knowledge of factors, common factors, and highest common factor. Is that correct? Is that true? Okay, that's fine. But now we have actually reduced 100 and 75. 100 denominator of 75 numerator here. We've reduced using the highest common factor 25. But now for the denominator here, I still have 4 here. Are we together? And I have 28 here. Look at it. Let's see if a common factor exists. Of course, 4 will work, right? And 4 is even the highest common factor here, right? 4 will go into itself once. And 4 will go into 28. How many times? How many 4s are there in 28? No. You know, it's very easy to find that out. Just walk with your fingers. Find out how many 4s are there in 28. 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, 28. So there are how many 4s in 28? There are 7 4s in 28. So it's very easy to do this. We just walk with our fingers, count all the 4s, get the multiples of 4, and see at what finger you get 28. So you get 28 on the 7th finger. So we can now say that there are 7 4s in 28. There are what? 7 4s in 28. And if there are 7 4s in 28, it simply means that 28 divided by 4 is 7. Is that okay? Is that true? Alright. So 4 will go into itself once and into 28 7 times. So what do we have here? For the numerator, this is 7 over 1 times what? 3 kg over 1. Is that right? Okay, since I cannot divide the numerator by the denominator using any common factor, this now becomes 7 times 3 kg. Is that true? Over 1 times 1. And this is what? 21 kg. So if this trader, it simply means that if the trader sold 28% of 75 kg of his sugar, he sold what? 21 kg. So if he sold 21 kg, how many is he left with? In case we have a question like that. Okay, he was able to sell 21 kg. So he will be left with what? 75 kg minus 21 kg, right? This is 4 and this is what? 5. So the trader is left with how many kg of sugar? 54 kg of sugar. He was able to sell 21 kg of this sugar. So 28% of 75 kg is 21 kg. Is that true? If that is the case, then 72% of what? 75 kg will be 54 kilograms of sugar. So I just want us to understand this. It is very, very important that we take note of these things. Very important. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
It is important. So let's look at what we have done so far. This is actually not part. This is not part of it. So I'm taking this off. This is just to stretch us a bit for easy deductive reasoning. So please, let's look at this example. This is carried, right? So you can see how we apply the knowledge of what percentage that we have gathered for the month of January to solving very simple word problems. As we progress, I told you after this topic percentage, we're going to move into profit and loss. And in profit and loss, we're going to consider or learn about percentage profit and percentage loss. We're going to look for loss in percentage and profit in percentage. We will still fall back to the idea of percentage. When we get to discount and commission, we will still be working with percentage. Even when we learn about pie chart, you will see pie chart in degrees and in percentage as well. So the importance of percentage cannot be overemphasized. That is why I am stressing it. I said that is why I am doing what? I am stressing it and we will continue to stress it. Are we together? Okay, feel free at any point in time to ask me questions if you have any. Feel very free. Okay, example 2, we're going to take the next example and let's look at it. They said a man did something. Don't worry. On Wednesday, you're going to be the teacher for 30 minutes. You're going to be the teacher for 30 minutes and you'll be on camera. You'll be the teacher for 30 minutes. And you're going to be working with this. So put yourself together. I want to see all you have gathered for the month of January. Because I think Wednesday should be February and that's the new month. Of course. So that my students. No, it's just you. So just to see what you have gathered. I pray you do so well because it's going to be a thumbs up for Miss Ruth. Alright. So let's look at this. Let's look at the next example. They said you will drink water later. Just hold on, let's finish this, please. Okay, a man did something. He invested 40 naira on his business.
That's $40.
And $40, sorry. And he was giving 10% profit. 10% profit. How much did he earn in his investment?
I know.
If he invested 40 naira and he gained 10% of his 40 naira, what are we to do to find out how much
He gained or he lost?
No. He earned. If he's earning,
400 naira.
no. See, if he's earning, he earned 10%. So 10% is going to be an increase in percentage. It's same thing as someone asking you to increase 40 naira by 10%. Do you understand that? Somebody has earned. So he was actually having $40, but because he did some certain things, he got 10% as what his earnings. So because he got 10%, it is an addition to what he had, which was $40. Is that okay? So because it's an addition, then that must be an increase in percentage. Is that not true? Here we are not asked to find the percentage increase. We're not asked to do that. What are we asked to do? We just want to know how much he earned from his investment. We know how much he invested, but we don't know what 10% of $40 is. And that's what we're to look out for. Are we together? Tamara? Okay, so let's look this way. So, total investment total investment is $40. Earnings so we have 10%. We have 10% of, that's what we have. So this becomes 10 over 100. I hope you know that 10 over, do you know that 10 over 100, hello, 10 over 100 is same thing as saying 10 divided by 100.
Yeah.
Do you know that? And do you know that if I'm saying 10 divided by 100, then I'm here to use the two zeros of the divisor to move the decimal point of the dividend 2 steps backward. So that what I have here is 0.10. 0.1 to 1 decimal place. Is that true? So this is 0.10 or 0.1 correct to 1 decimal place. So when you see 10 over 100, hello, somebody can be writing 10 over 100 and another person is writing 0.10. Are they doing the same thing? Of course they are doing 10 over 100 is same thing as what? 0.10. So you can choose to leave it at 10 over 100. No, that's fine. Or you just do 10 divided by 100. Use the two zeros of the divisor to move the decimal point of the dividend backwards because the operation is division. But because there are two zeros for the divisor, remember, we move the decimal point 2 steps backwards. We said that it is the number of zeros you have for the divisor. We said that it is the number of zeros you have for the divisor. The number of zeros for the divisor, that is what will determine how many times you will move the decimal point. The number of zeros of the divisor will determine that. So because there are two zeros for the divisor, we move the decimal point 2 steps backward. If we have 3 zeros or 4 zeros, we would have moved the decimal point 2 or 3 steps or 4 steps backwards. So I just want to bring to your attention that 10 over 100 is the same thing as 0.10. 0.10 correct in 2 decimal places or 0.1. But of course, it has to be 0.10 because it tells you that there are 2 decimal places for the 100. Alright, so it's fine we take note of this. It's fine. Let's take note of this as additional information if you want to have that in mind. So, hello, this 10% we have expressed it as 10 over 100 times 40. Of course, this is money over 1. And because it's money anyway, we generally leave in 2 decimal places just to make life very easy for us so that we will not confuse anybody. Okay, but I hope you know that these 2 zeros, now listen attentively. I hope you know that these 2 zeros here, this is the units and this is the tens. So you cannot use the 0 for the units and the 0 for the tens here to cancel this 0 and this 0. You know why? Because the place value of 0 here is not unique. True or false? This is the 100th and this is the 10th. So you cannot use the unit and the tens to cancel the 100th and the 10th. So these 2 zeros, unit and 10, will not cancel these 2 zeros because they do not correspond to the same house. Is that okay? It is fine, we know the reason it will not work. The reason it will not work is because this is the unit and this is the tens. This is the 100th and this is the what? 10th. But this 0 will work for this because this is unit and this is unit. Is that okay? This is unit and this is unit. So this 0 will cancel this 0. This 0 cancelling this 0 will mean that this will be 10, right? And this will cancel this. Is that not true? Is that not what we have? This other 0 has cancelled this other one. So what we have here is 1 times 4 1 times 1. This is so if the person made 10%, hello, if the person made 10% profit after investing $40 in his business, how much did he earn? How much did he earn from his investment? What profit did he go home with? $4. He made
That
$4.
was my first answer.
I heard you say 400.
But then the point is because
No, I heard. I actually heard.
Yes,
Yes.
I thought it was you were adding zero. I took away zero instead
No.
because you said 10, so I used the zero to remove zero.
But it is important that you take note of this. You just have to remember these 2 zeros here. No, you have to remember this because you see common mistakes most students make. The common mistakes most students make, and that's why you see them at the end of the day they get wrong answers because they do not pay attention to the place value arrangement. And we know that place value arrangement is key to everything we want to do in mathematics. Is that okay? Okay. So let's look at this. You do not even respect the fact that what's wrong with you? So let's look at this. Let's look at the next thing. We have this. A school's population, 850 people in that school. We want to find 5% of it. Of course, this becomes what? 5%